Scott Abraham, ABC7 sports director and anchor. Scott, did you see Jayden Daniels walking around at all during your time at Commanders Park this week?
Yeah, I mean, he was out there on the practice field. Good to see him get a couple of limited sessions in. Everybody has the same question of what's this all mean for Sunday against the Falcons. I mean, I think most of us are in the court of, we really don't know what's going to happen. But I think a lot of us, including myself, I tend to think this whole thing might be a smoke screen, a little gamesmanship, and he won't play against Atlanta. But again, we'll certainly know more today at practice, and I think this is going to go all the way up to Sunday morning when they release the kind of
11:30.
Yeah, here's my thought on it, Scott, is that initially when you see it, how pissed off he is, and you're like, oh, man, he's really going to push for it, and then you see the video, and you think, well, he looks pretty good to me, but then I go back to, man, he's so pissed off, I feel like deep down he knows they're not going to clear him. That's why he's so pissed off.
Yeah, I mean, he's a competitor. He wants to be out there, and I think this, it's great to see this franchise taking the direction of they're protecting the players. This is a marathon, not a sprint, and they know ultimately what the end goal is. And look what Mariota did against the Raiders. He played very well, and they think they can win with Mariota at the end of the day. So I think this is what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to miss Atlanta. I think he's definitely going to go back home to L.A. and play in that Chargers game. That's just obviously so important to him going back home. I think that's going to be the scenario, guys. That's what my gut tells me.
Yeah. Scott, how hard has it been trying to pin down what is happening with Terry McLaurin and his health status? I know that there were a lot of differing reports over the past few weeks.
Even Jayden's. You don't even know what the injury is.
The whole thing. I mean, Bill Krosky-Mara. I mean, there's just so many different layers, and you just don't know, guys. I mean, you see him out there, Bill Krosky-Mara. You don't see Terry. You don't see Noah Brown. You don't see John Bates. So again, all this stuff is going to be happening probably today and on Sunday. I don't think Terry's going to play. Obviously, he's missed the last couple of days of practice. Got that second opinion. You're trying to figure out what exactly is the injury. Is it a core injury? Is it a quad injury? Is it a combination of both? Wants to see a specialist. Doesn't need surgery, according to sources. So. It doesn't seem like to be a lengthy like month-long injury, which is obviously good news. But you're probably not going to have Terry on the field on Sunday. You may not have Bill Krosky-Mara on the field on Sunday. So then you're going to rely on the Jalen Lanes, the Luke McCaffreys, the McNichols, the Chris Rodriguez. So this is going to be an interesting game on Sunday.
Is it possible that I feel like Bill's going to play? But if he doesn't,
I think Bill's going to play. I do, but you don't know. He has 2 limited practices. He was on the side working with trainers. Yeah. He had a pad and helmet on. I think Bill's going to play. But again, you're in that court of, geez, you got to wait until 11:30 on Sunday. You got to wait until hear what Dan says today at practice. But I think Terry's a no-go. I think Bates is a no-go. I think Jayden's going to be a no-go. I think Bill will play.
Noah Brown a no-go.
I don't think Brown's going to go. I mean, he hasn't practiced the last 2 days,
but here's my question, Scott. Here's my question: let's just say that they decide to be careful with Bill and rest him, could they call up Chase Edmonds?
Chase Edmonds, they obviously brought him up. They brought him on board a couple of weeks ago, so he's a possibility. He has that familiarity with Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona. So they would have to, bring somebody up, and I think Chase would be the next in line in terms of who would get bumped up.
What about at receiver?
Receiver, it'd be Jalen Lane and Luke McCaffrey. They'd get more reps. Obviously, they'd pull up Ja'Cory Brooks or one of those other guys on the practice squad. I think
Jacoby Jones, maybe.
Yeah, Jacoby Jones. I think
get the first call. But it's just. This is a situation where, I think you're going to have to rely on this Washington defense against an Atlanta offense that's just in disarray right now. You have the offensive coordinator moving from the booth to the field. They fired their wide receiver coach. Michael Penix is struggling right now. They got a goose egg against Carolina. So I think this is a point where the defense may have to win this football game and be kind of the difference in this game, knowing the injuries on the offensive side of the ball.
Man, there's so many injuries.
So many.
I just worry.
I mean, there's like 12.
I just worry that because we're all been doing this forever and we're all fans. the league is different. Unless you're like hell, even the Ravens are wild this year. But unless you're like one of the stalwarts, you have no idea what you're going to get from these teams week to week. And the Falcons were so bad last week, they got to bounce back. We were so good, I'm not sure we could duplicate that kind of production. Hopefully we could duplicate the effort. And I feel like that leads us to a real middle of the road here, and we got a hot one in the fourth quarter.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think you're going to see a desperate, urgent Atlanta Falcons team. They're going to try to right the ship. They're going to try to get Penix going. They got a really good defense. They're strong on defense. They have a good offensive line. And obviously the key, guys, is going to be trying to slow down Bijan Robinson, contain him. I think you got to try to make Penix beat you through the air. And he hasn't proven to do that so far yet. He doesn't have a touchdown pass yet to a tight end or a wide receiver through 3 games. So he's struggling a little bit. And I think it's going to come down to this Washington defense and see what the offense for Washington can do with a mishmash unit.
Scott, do you put any stock in the fact that this is not only a Debo homecoming game? I have this, and this is just off the top of my head, I have this as a quad Commanders homecoming game for Jalen Lane, Bill, Debo, and Daron Payne, who all grew up around 2 to 3 hours away from Atlanta. Yeah. Do you buy into that bit?
I totally buy into it because I talked to Bill. I talked to Bill today on Wednesday, and the ticket request and how many friends and family. He said he's asking teammates in the Washington locker room if he can use their 2 tickets if they're not using them to help with his friends and family that want to go to the game. So if you're playing in front of friends and family and really close people in your circle that really helped you get to that point, you're going to have some extra juice. That's just natural. So I think this is a personal for a lot of the guys, knowing they're going back home and playing. And obviously Dan Quinn, he didn't want to get into it. I asked him on Wednesday what it means to you to go back to Atlanta as a head coach again, but for an opposing team. And he just played the normal card of I have a lot of respect for them, and it's not about me. We're going to go out there and battle. So, but this means a lot to Dan as well because how things ended in Atlanta, and of course. He doesn't want to make it about him. It's about the players between the white lines. But, the players understand, again, what this means to Dan as well.
It's been a hot mess in Atlanta because of the results certainly from last week. They fired Ike Hilliard, like you mentioned, the wide receiver coach, Zach Robinson, who, by the way, is on a list of, because he played at Oklahoma State. He's on that short list of a possible replacement for Gundy. Not sure if he's interested in it or not. But, there's been some disarray there with the coaching staff, obviously. Drake London doesn't have a touchdown yet, in 3 weeks. Bijan was held in check last week. I mean, they were just bad. I feel like Atlanta, I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm still predicting Washington wins, but I think they're just going to be much better and much more in sync offensively.
They were embarrassed last week against Carolina, and they know this fan base down there is not happy with the offensive production, and you just have to expect they're going to play better, and they're going to play with a physicality. They're going to play with an urgency, and it's up to Washington to match that. This is a tough stretch for Washington coming up here next 4 to 5 games, and this is where you can kind of see the semblance of a season kind of taking shape over the next month here. And you'd love to have all the guys healthy. They're not. It's just going to be next man up. You're going to have a Jeremy Reeves probably playing much more at safety. You're going to have a Tyler Owens out there, and Luke McCaffrey's and the Jalen Lanes, and can a Chris Paul duplicate what he did against the Raiders? So it's guys that maybe aren't necessarily headline-worthy guys, but it's a team sport at the end of the day. And every 53-man guy on that roster, they got to step up and make an impact, and that's what a team sport's all about. And I know Dan Quinn and his coaching staff, they're confident of the depth that they have, and they're going to roll with the guys they feel are going to give them the best chance to win.
Talking to Scott Abraham, ABC7 sports director and anchor. Speaking of guys that have to contribute, they brought in Preston Smith to be another pass rusher, I guess. I think Von Miller's been good, got his first full sack last week. He's got 1.5 on the season. Can we expect Preston Smith to play? What do we think?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a good chance that he'll be out there on Sunday. He's getting his sea legs, getting into the system and getting used to the rotation and how they're going to utilize him. He just adds another depth pass rusher with Dorrance Armstrong. What a season Dorrance Armstrong's had so far, making them look like geniuses of not trying to go after a edge rusher or a pass rusher in the free agent market. Dorrance has been tremendous, and that's why they brought a Preston Smith to kind of set the edge without a Dietrich Wise in the run game. Add another pass rusher. So I could see him maybe being up this week and making an impact on those pass rush situations. And Von Miller, it was great to see him use his patented spin move and his low arching moves that he gets around the tackles. He's a guy that still has some juice in the tank. So those are the situations, that's another good point, guys. This defense so far has done a great job of getting off the field on third down. They're one of the best in the NFL. And what they're doing is they're forcing the offenses to be on 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, longer conversions instead of like the 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 3s, so they can really kind of pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. So that's something to watch for. This defense has done a fantastic job of getting off the field on third down. So that's been a key to their success.
Scott, another late add to the defense, Darnell Savage, formerly of the Packers and the Jags. He was released, I think it was after week 2 by the Jags and the Commanders because of the injuries, obviously, to Will Harris and now Percy Butler scoop him up. Do we expect him to have a role as soon as this Sunday?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know about that one, but what leads me to maybe is they loved, obviously, Jeremy Reeves in that special teams role. He's their special teams ace. So how much do they want to kind of decipher the snaps between Tyler Owens and Jeremy Reeves, or focus more Jeremy on special teams? I think Savage has a chance, but I'm not there yet with him. Again, he just got into the building, so my gut tells me maybe he'll be inactive for this one. But again, they're kind of low on the safety pieces right now with Will Harris out. So that's something to monitor on Sunday at 11:30.
All right, Scott, given everything that we've talked about, what is your pick for Sunday?
What's your prediction?
Yeah. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be low scoring. Give me Washington 23. Give me Atlanta 21.
Okay.
That just sneaks under, I think.
Just
right around there.
What's the under? 45?
Something like that.
It's close.
45 and a half.
Yeah, it's going to be close. And one thing I might add, don't be surprised if Penix struggles in the first half. Maybe they go to Kirk Cousins in the second half to kind of get a boost to this offense of the passing game, pushing it down the field, because he might be on a little bit of a short leash here if the offense struggles in the first half.
All right, Scott, good stuff. It's Scott Abraham from ABC 7. Coming up next, we're going to make our Survivor pick. Cakes has somebody. I've got somebody. Mm-hmm. Jason's got somebody. I'm not sure who EB's favorite. We'll kind of put our heads together and come up with our Survivor pick as we try to advance in week 4. Don't go anywhere.